I'm LAURIE ACTMAN with the Penn Center for Innovation. Welcome to our 6th annual celebration. We're attempting to do a hybrid format, so welcome to everyone who was able to be here in person. Welcome to everyone who's joined us virtually. And as I'm sure you've read, it's been an amazing year this year. Also, if you're a faculty inventor who's receiving a patent, congratulations. And please make sure to pick up your patent cube, which is on one of the tables towards the back. And I'd just like to welcome all my PCI colleagues, all of our partners and friends, also our Vice Provost, Jean Bennett, and finally, I'm pleased to introduce John SWARTLEY, our Managing Director.
I get to take my mask off. Well, thank you, LAURIE, and thanks to you and all of the PCI folks who have pulled this together. Obviously, we are coming back to some sense of normalcy, which is great to see. I'm glad to see so many of you in person, and you can look around the corner here, and I know that there are lots of folks that are joining us via video. For our 6th annual celebration of innovation. I'm really fond of this event because the purpose of it is to celebrate the achievements of the innovators and inventors and creative folks who are so prominent here at Penn. We just sincerely thank all of you for the time and effort that you invest in working with us and developing your great ideas. Once again, as you can probably see rolling past on some of the screens here, over 100 faculty inventors were named on over 100 issued patents over the last fiscal year. And we're really just delighted to be able to highlight some of those achievements tonight. This fall marked, interestingly enough, actually the 7th anniversary of the formal launch of the Penn. What I wanted to do is just real briefly, I won't be too long-winded about it, but want to sort of looking back over the history of PCI since its launch in 2014. I wanted to look at some of the some of the statistical, I guess, or some of the benchmarked performance metrics that had occurred over that time, and it's kind of astounding when I look at it in a cumulative format like that. I'll just share a few kind of key markers with you. It'll give you some sense for just how unbelievably productive this institution has been in terms of innovation and commercialization. I mentioned patents. Between 2014 and present, over 6,000 patents filed. That's astounding, and that's a reflection of the amount of partnership activity, because a lot of those patents are filed in partnership with our commercial sponsors, some very broadly. And talking about commercial sponsorship, almost $1 billion in sponsored research has flowed into this university. And this is commercially sponsored research. I'm distinguishing that from clinical trials and grant-funded research. But about $750 million of corporate SRA funding, over 5,000 commercialization agreements during that time. It just giving you sort of a sense of the sheer magnitude of what has been happening during this time. I'll also point to the fact that we're up over 250 startups that have been spun out of Penn, over $2.5 billion of invested capital and/or capital creation during that time. So I just wanted to kind of give a little bit of a framework. Each year we celebrate the patent achievements and the special innovation achievements of this community, but it's a continuum, and it's a continuum that's incredibly vibrant and productive. And I'm just incredibly proud to be part of it. So, of course, none of this would be possible without the incredible support of the institution, of obviously President Gutman and the trustees of the university, Don Bonnell, who was kind enough to join us tonight. Thank you, Don. And many other members of the Penn leadership community who've been so helpful and collaborative with us throughout. I want to thank my staff at PCI. It's a phenomenal group, incredible team, and none of this would happen without their incredible efforts. But again, and I probably say something like this every year, but I mean it. Most importantly, I want to thank the visionaries and the creators and the Penn faculty, staff, and students who make, who create the lifeblood and the fuel that makes all of this happen. It doesn't happen without you. You're unbelievable, and this event is all about you. So I'm going to transition here and I've been speaking about the power of innovation and the impact of innovation, and it really it gives me great pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker for tonight. She is a true pioneer in the field of gene therapy and ophthalmic research. Of course, I'm speaking of Dr. Jean Bennett. She's the FM Kirby Professor of Ophthalmology in the Perelman School of Medicine. Her research program focuses on gene therapy for retinal diseases, and her laboratory developed Luxturna, for example, the first FDA-approved gene therapy for use in humans, which treats a rare form of blindness. But Jean is she's personally listed on a collection of patents, which is probably longer than the list that we're rolling today. She's also been involved in numerous startup companies. So she's, throughout her stellar career, science, commerce, innovation, and it's all been at the forefront. And it's truly been my team's great pleasure and privilege to have been able to work with her and her colleagues for over a decade now. Before I bring Jean up to provide the keynote, I just want to note that not only is Jean a world-class scientist, scholar, creator, teacher, and trailblazer, she's also truly a wonderful human being, and she's a Penn treasure. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Jean Bennett and thank her for joining us.
Thank you so much. I'm so humbled by your kind words. It's such an honor to be here, and I'm really grateful. So I also want to thank everybody else at PCI, LAURIE, and of course, the results would be viewed, none of the results would be viewed as inventions without the support of everyone at PCI. I've had the opportunity to work closely with people working at many different divisions of PCI, and our work has benefited enormously from expertise, the leadership, John SWARTLEY, Benjamin DIBLING, Laurie ACTMAN, Michael Poisel, and associate expertise, Kate Donahue, Jennifer Langberger, Jim BOWEN, Deneen Wambach, people who've helped with MTAs, CDAs, all sorts of things. And I've enjoyed working with people in many divisions, from corporate contracts to PCI ventures. And in particular, I really enjoyed working with Michael Dischewitz on an upstart project that had a long and winding road and led to crazy paths, and ultimately helped, that work helped to bring us to a new platform. So I've learned from all of you about how to turn data into progress. And I'm especially grateful to Bob Schenkel and Shilpa Bhansali. And I know Shilpa's in here and Bob is online. And I'm grateful to them for guiding me and teaching me over the years. In fact, over the past couple of years, I don't think a week has gone by that I haven't had a long conversation with Shilpa. She's helped enormously in dealing with the big picture as well as the nitty-gritty and issues in terms of solidifying paths to the clinic for a very large number of our projects. So I constantly tell my colleagues what incredible resource Shilpa and Bob are. Thank you. I've also enjoyed working with and benefiting from collaboration of many, many other talented individuals here at Penn and elsewhere, including numerous trainees at different stages and fellow faculty members and administrators. The list of people is enormous and too long to mention now. I'd like to, however, acknowledge my long-term collaborator, Dr. Albert McGuire, who's also my husband, and who with his clinical and surgical skills and critical thinking has played a key role from concept through implementation of our ideas. He's actually been penalized for some of my inventions, as he's been forbidden to enroll patients in clinical studies when I may have an inventorship position, due to concerns of conflict of interest. In fact, somebody suggested to us that we get divorced to avoid that. We didn't do that, but we're grateful for the help of Joanne Rosenthal and Diane Wender in particular for sorting these things out before they really became a problem. And I'm also lucky to have worked closely with John Way's son, who with his boundless energy and creativity has supported the preclinical studies and clinical studies and now supporting an entire pipeline. And there are many, many others, including Phil Johnson, Jessica Imrie, who are here, and many, many others of you who have helped in this process. Anyway, I'm humbled by the award, as I never considered myself an inventor. I did grow up with a father who I did consider was an inventor. He was a co-inventor of the first gas laser, and then went on to invent more than a dozen other lasers. He was a really bad businessman. I don't think he even got the $1 that he was supposed to have been awarded from Bell Labs for his patents. But he wasn't into it for the money. And I learned from him that the joy is in the tinkering, and then seeing something succeed is a bonus. And of course, it can require an incredible amount of work and persistence in the face of skepticism. I remember a foundation leader saying to patients right after I gave a talk about the promise of gene therapy, "This will never work." And the plans I had for treating blindness. But situations like that have motivated me to dig in and prove skeptics wrong. So I have to thank those skeptics as well. Of course, all scientific progress is built on the results of previous studies. And so my inventions are built upon the shoulders of other scientists, and they're also inspired by the needs and despair of patients. Many of my programs were developed as a direct result of a patient in the clinic, or meeting a patient at a meeting, or even from responding to an email from a patient. These individuals are now like family. It's been so motivating to hear people's stories and to try to figure out a way to help them. And the partnership has made me truly fortunate to be able to witness the benefits of patients of one of our first inventions, one which led to the development of the first approved gene therapy for genetic disease, which is Luxturna. And nothing compared the events I've witnessed. I can't think of a better reward than being able to witness events such as a child seeing his or her parent's face for the first time. Although one parent told me that that child also told them, "Mom, I didn't know you had so many wrinkles." The mom was actually really happy that the child could see that amount of detail. And to witness individuals becoming independent and being able to embark on careers, go to school, put away their Braille books and blind canes and actually see what's going on in the classroom and walk independently. There's no better reward than that. And so I truly hope that the more recent inventions from my team will continue to make a difference in people's lives. And once again, it's so humbling to be honored at this event. And I thank everyone at PCI, especially Shilpa and Bob, but all of you for all of your efforts in helping our programs get this far. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Jean. Next, I'd like to introduce Mark Angleka, our Senior Associate Director of Corporate Alliances, to present the Deal of the Year Award.
So sometimes significant things come from humble beginnings. In September of 2019, I received 2 very speculative invention disclosures with scant preliminary data from Sar Gill, Assistant Professor of Medicine at Penn. That came with a message from SAR indicating that he and Bruce Peacock, a business partner of his who partnered in formation of Charisma Therapeutics a few years earlier, were interested in forming a business venture around these two early disclosures. So while it was without a doubt an exciting prospect that SAR and Bruce were putting the band back together, so to speak, I could have hardly predicted that at that time that this new venture would turn into something that would result in one of the largest private stock issuances in the Philadelphia area in 2021. So the company that they founded, Interius Biotherapeutics, was formed in 2019 around the concept of inpatient cell-specific viral delivery of CAR-T. This would be a disruptive technology with the promise of eliminating the time and expense of the ex vivo manufacturing that's currently in use for CAR-T manufacturing. So since executing the license to the patent rights to the Penn technology earlier this year, Interius has raised an impressive $76 million Series A round, expanded to close to 20 employees, and most recently, we're pleased to report, has taken up residence at the Penn Works Center in a 17,000 square foot facility. So they appear to be well positioned to take a good run towards transforming CAR-T cell manufacturing and delivery, and hopefully making CAR-T and other gene therapies more accessible to patients. So with great pleasure, I'm happy to present this year's most deserved Deal of the Year award to Interius Biotherapeutics. And here to accept the award is Interius CEO, Phil Johnson.
So I want to recognize Bruce, who's standing back there, right there. Bruce is really the founder along with SAR. SAR unfortunately couldn't be here. He was called out of town unexpectedly a few days ago. So I wish SAR were here because this is all his idea. And with Bruce's help, he launched a small effort that began with 1 employee in July of 20, and that we now are up to 30 FTEs over at the Penn Works Center. So we're delighted to receive this award and thank John Swartley. I've known John for how many years now? Too long, not too long. But PCI has obviously been a big partner of ours in this endeavor and others, along with Jean, who spoke earlier. So thank you on behalf of Interius. We have Interius employees here, Jess Emery, Dora Mitchell, and Tim Culper here as well. Want them to raise their hands. Thank you, guys. But again, without Bruce's leadership in raising the money, it wouldn't have happened. So I want to give Bruce all the credit. Thank you.
Now I'd like to bring up my colleague Tracy Chin, one of our licensing officers, to present the Emerging Inventor of the Year award.
Thanks, Laurie. It's my great honor and pleasure to present our next award, the Emerging Inventor of the Year, to Mike Mitchell, who is an assistant professor in bioengineering. Mike joined Penn's faculty in 2018 to start his independent research lab, working on lipid nanoparticles for nucleic acid delivery. Mike has been a really prolific inventor. In the 3 years or so that he's been at Penn, PCI has received 16 invention disclosures, 12 of which we filed patent applications on. So many in the audience, like myself, have probably heard about lipid nanoparticles and all the news coverage of the mRNA COVID-19 vaccines. We know that these lipid shells are what protect and deliver the mRNA to our cells and are crucial to their success. So not surprisingly, we've received a tremendous amount of commercial interest in partnering with Mike through licensing, sponsored research, as well as startup activities. Mike has a extensive portfolio around LNP technologies, addressing some of the most critical challenges in the industry today. For example, he's making novel lipid libraries for delivery to specific cell types and tissues. He's also created a bar-coded screening platform that facilitates high throughput discovery of new LNPs. And Mike is also innovating in LNP manufacturing, where he's developed a microfluidic device for large-scale production of these products. Needless to say, Mike's research is highly collaborative, and he works with many faculty across Penn's campus. I think it's very fitting that this is the Emerging Inventor Award. We are very excited to be celebrating all of your accomplishments here today, Mike, but also very much looking forward to new inventions to come. So with that, please join me in congratulating Mike, and welcome to say a few words.
Thank you so much, Tracy, for the kind words. I just want to say a quick thanks to the whole PCI team, Tracy Chen, Ben Dibling, and Courtney Kavanaugh for all the great help over the past year or so. Our lab's really good at making mRNA lipid nanoparticle technologies. As an assistant professor, I have no idea how to negotiate any of these things with outer entities. So huge thanks to their team for managing all the interest that we're getting in this field and really having our back. And I just want to say another quick thanks to all of our great collaborators on campus, Jim Wilson's lab, Carl's lab, Drew Weissman's lab, Vladimir Zikantov, and all of the great students and postdocs in the lab who are developing great technologies. I tell my chair all the time, we feel like kids at a candy store at Penn developing these new technologies and translating them towards patients. So we feel very thankful to be here. So thank you so much.
Now I'd like to bring up Ben Dibling, our Deputy Managing Director, to present the Startup of the Year Award.
Thanks so much, Laurie. It's really great to be able to host the Celebration of Innovation event this year in person and to enable so many of our inventors, faculty, and colleagues to be able to join virtually. I'm really thrilled to have the honor of presenting this award this afternoon for Startup of the Year. I'm actually stepping in for my colleague, Melissa Kelly, who unfortunately couldn't be here today. With all the awards that are being presented here today, we're fortunate at Penn to have many nominees to select from, which is really a testament to the world-class research that happens at this institution and the innovative spirit of our faculty, staff, and students. And the Startup of the Year category is no exception, and there were numerous high-quality candidates. That said, I'm really delighted to be able to announce that the award this year goes to Vetigenics, an animal health biopharmaceutical company originally founded by Dr. Nikki Mason of the Veterinary School of Medicine and Don Siegel of the Perlman School of Medicine in participation with PCI's Upstart program. Vetigenics is focused on developing antibody-based immunotherapies to treat a variety of diseases in dogs, including cancer, infectious diseases, and other chronic conditions. And the foundational technology originated here at Penn in the laboratories of Dr. Mason and Dr. Siegel. Vetigenics is on a really terrific trajectory. They've been very successful in securing non-dilutive forms of capital. And we were really excited to hear the announcement early in November of a discovery collaboration with Merck Animal Health. Vetigenics is very fortunate to have Adrienne Sachs as CEO and co-founder. And I'm delighted that Adrienne, Don, and Nikki are all here this evening to accept the Startup of the Year award for Vetigenics. Congratulations.
So I think we all have a couple of few things to say. Thank you, PCI, for the recognition. It's very exciting. Being a part of bringing this innovative research of Drs. Mason and Siegel to life has really been an honor. And I'm truly grateful that they chose me to lead Vetigenics, which has been a labor of love, and it has been a really good time. We've worked hard, but we've had a lot of fun. The award not only recognizes the visionary work of our co-founders, but it also reaffirms the continued commitment that we all have to improve the health of our greatest companions, dogs and cats, who every day work hard to make our lives more meaningful. Not only as dear family members, but as a parallel patient population to advance new cancer therapies for both humans and animals. On behalf of all of us at Vetigenics, thank you, PCI, for your support, and thank you again for this award.
So Nikki and I don't think we need to say anything. Adrian said it all. But again, I want to thank PCI for giving us this award. Nikki and I had this idea over 10 years ago to do this, but some of the technology wasn't around yet, so we had to create some of it. And it's all kind of come together today. It's a great collaboration. She's a veterinarian. She knows about the veterinary medicine and the needs of the dogs. I've been developing antibodies using technologies that I've been here. 38 years I've been at Penn developing stuff. So it's really great to see these things coming to fruition. If social media is any indication of what people are excited about, in a sense, I've posted lots of things that have gone on in human health, things that I've been involved in with CAR T therapy for humans. And, you know, I get likes, you know, but when this thing last month about Vetigenics, about the Merck animal health thing, which just made it was a reason why it went on the Facebook, there were hundreds, like all of my, like hundreds of friends suddenly. I mean, there's something that hits a nerve about, I mean, you know, people care about people, right? But there's something about the health of dogs and, you know, cats. I don't care that much about cats, but about dogs that that really seem to strike a note in people. So I don't know if that's part of all this, but I'm grateful for it. So thank you.
Okay, next, I'm bringing back up John Swartley, our Managing Director, to present the Paul D. Sehnert Memorial Partner Award. John.
All right, thank you again, Laurie. So I'm proud and honored to announce the recipient of the Paul D. Sehnert Award this year. Past recipients of this award include some of Penn's most significant R&D alliance partners and some of our long-term venture capital funding partners. The award was recently renamed. It used to be I believed it was the Partner of the Year award, but it was renamed the Paul D. Sehnert Award after an individual who represented the very best of the partnership spirit here at Penn, Paul Sehnert. As I think some of you or many of you may know, Paul was the unofficial mayor of the Pennovation Works campus, and through his leadership and vision, that the Pennovation site has really evolved over the years into the vibrant and growing incubator and accelerator facility we all know today. Paul sadly lost his battle with cancer in 2019, but his legacy lives on in the spirit of partnership and innovation at Penn that is truly represented by this award. And that spirit is very well exhibited by this year's recipient of the award, the Institute for Life-Changing Medicine, which was co-founded by Penn's own Dr. James Wilson in partnership with his lifelong friend, colleague, and mentor, Dr. Tachi Yamada. For those of you who don't know, the Institute is a nonprofit organization that identifies, develops, and promotes access to life-changing medicines for diseases that are not considered commercially viable. So it's a true labor of love. The Institute aims to overcome the challenge in developing treatments for these types of rare diseases by finding alternative funding sources, because these types of projects are difficult, if not impossible, to fund with traditional commercial and venture sources. So it's just wonderful to see this type of an opportunity come to the fore, and it really does represent the spirit of this award, as well as the lifelong ambitions of both Dr. Wilson and Dr. Yamada. So it's my pleasure to introduce Jim Wilson, who will be receiving the Paul D. Sehnert Memorial Partnership Award on behalf of the Institute for Life-Changing Medicine. And I will turn it over to him. I believe he's available via video.
I am. John, can you hear me okay?
We can hear you fine. Thanks, Jim.
Great. Well, I'm really honored to accept this award on behalf of my friend and partner, the late Tachi Yamada. Tachi was an amazing person, being a world-class academic physician, one of the most accomplished leaders in the pharmaceutical industry, but most importantly, a humanist, having been knighted by both the Queen of England and the Emperor of Japan. Tachi and I decided to establish this nonprofit because we saw a gap, a growing gap between what was possible and what was available. And we wanted to close that gap, especially for those that are either too poor or too rare to benefit from investment from industry. Tachi felt that this was probably his last but most important chapter to his life. And as many of you know, Tachi passed unexpectedly and tragically just earlier this year. But he taught us well, all of us who benefited from his mentorship, and we only have more resolve to take this forward. I know he would be absolutely delighted, John, with the recognition. He wasn't from Penn, but he was Penn. He supported Penn in so many different ways, as you know. And we're going to look to Penn for partnership in this important initiative. So again, on behalf of the Institute for Life-Changing Medicine, Tachi Yamada and myself, thank you, PCI, for this recognition.
Thank you. Now I'm pleased to bring up my colleague, Jim BOWEN, who's here our Executive Director of Corporate Alliances, to present our Inventors of the Year Award, which is extra special this year. Jim.
So thank you, Laurie, and thank you all for joining us tonight for this very special event and moment, again, to honor and celebrate the great innovation here at the University of Pennsylvania. And we're standing here in no small part tonight because of the work of some of the inventors, or our two inventors of the year this year at Penn. So it's my great privilege and honor to extend the Inventor of the Year award this year to Doctors Katalin, Kariko, and Dr. Drew Weissman, who have revolutionized mRNA therapy. So Dr. Kariko started her career here at the University of Pennsylvania and worked as a scientist at Penn for 23 years, is now a senior vice president at BioNTech Pharmaceuticals in Mainz, Germany. Dr. Weissman, our Roberts Family Professor in Vaccine Research and Professor of Medicine at Penn, is a world-class expert in immunology. And Katie and Drew's fundamental work started more than 15 years ago when they came together as a collaborative team to develop what became a fundamental invention for mRNA biology. So this invention was basically the modified nucleosides being used to insert it into mRNA that were shown to decrease the innate immune response in patients and also to increase the stability of the molecule. This fundamental invention was incorporated into both the mRNA vaccine developed by BioNTech and by Pfizer just last year, that was developed and marketed in record time, is now an invention, a technology that has been delivered to billions of people, or over 1 billion people worldwide, and has saved millions of lives. Tremendous invention. And again, something that happened more than 15 years ago here at Penn through an active collaboration between these two inventors. Katie with her expertise and tenacity, mRNA biology. Drew with his innate sense, his keen sense and insight into the innate immune system and immunology. Created such a complementary duo here, and I think without this combination of efforts and synergy, well, we wouldn't be standing here tonight. Yeah, I think the ingenuity that arose from this collaboration, from two unique disciplines coming together, and the unique personalities of both Katie and Drew, really led to this key innovation. So in my 14 years here at the university, I feel humbled and honored to have worked with such great scientists who are so very humble and respectful, and they really care about just driving basic science forward and understanding the key underpinnings of these discoveries. They continue this innovation today, and I feel so fortunate to have worked with them for this extended period of time to develop now new advances, new innovations around mRNA biology, delivery technologies, targeted therapeutics, targeted mRNA. And I think what will ultimately become the new wave of innovation, we're at a catalytic point, we're at an inflection point in mRNA drug discovery. And I feel Katie and Drew's innovations, again, starting more than 15 years ago here at Penn, are continuing today, are leading the way, again, to this new future of mRNA drugs here at Penn and really around the world. Another remarkable thing about Drew and Katie, they always take the time and they're always available. Their mission is to educate and train the next generation of students, investigators, and scientists, both here at Penn and around the world. And again, I feel humbled and honored to be in a position to present the Inventor of the Year award to both Katie and Drew. They're creating their work is creating an impact. It's inclusive research, and it's innovative research, which again, on all three fronts here is driving both basic and science, or basic and translational science forward for the betterment of society. So yeah, with this said, I feel privileged and honored to present this year's Inventor of the Year award to Dr. Katalin Kariko and Dr. Drew Weissman.
I think you summed up our many years of trying to develop RNA therapies. And you know, there have been many articles about the struggles that Katie and I had over the years. I can speak for Katie in saying that we're highly honored to receive this award. But I feel a little foolish receiving this award, because it isn't just me that worked on this. It's been thousands of researchers before us and after us that are responsible for making RNA into a therapeutic and making it into a future technology that will hopefully be given to many more people for many diseases. So I think, you know, it's really all of basic scientists and all of the researchers that were involved in the development of mRNA vaccines, mRNA therapeutics that should be receiving this award. So thank you very much. You know, we're both highly honored to receive this award. Thank you.
I am also very honored to be named to Inventor of the Year, and thanks for this recognition. And I was reflecting on the 33 years I started at Penn, and that time it was not PCI, it was just technology transfer, this is how we called. And I did not visited much the office that time. And as I was cleaning at home, I found all of this envelope I received plasmid from colleagues all over the country. And we never filed MTA. That time it was, this is how we did and received many of these. And I was very happy just to hear Jean Bennett talking, because in 1992, I opened the door when she arrived from Johns Hopkins, and we shoulder to shoulder worked together. And so I was so lucky to meet her and the ideas, and we shared. And of course, in 98, meeting Drew really at the Xerox machine, as they said. And we worked together and on this project. And I remember one visit at the technology transfer office when Tom Fujimon was there, and then he asked that, what is this RNA is good for? And tried to say something, and I did say that maybe for hair growth. And those who know, Tom had no hair. And so he immediately was eager to jump in and file. So anyway, it's just these good memories I remember today. And so all of the help we got from the office, and as well as support we got from Innovation Pennsylvania to write our first application for STTR grant, submitting our grant, establishing our RNARX company, and working with Wharton School graduates. And so it was, we learned a lot. And now that I am on the other side of not just the ocean, because right now I am in Mainz, Germany, I'm working in biotech, but also understanding from the company side that some idea we had was great, and some, no, that's not feasible, great ideas, but maybe not feasible for, further development. But I am very happy that I am Inventor of the Year. I never thought about that. I will get such an honor. And, working with Drew even today, because now that Drew and working with BioNTech and developing together more product. And I am so glad that we are now working together for more than 20 years. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you to our incredible awardees, as well as all of our partners and friends for joining us tonight. Hopefully we can gather again next year without our masks. And again, thanks everyone for being here.